Strength connects to the Hebrew letter Tet, which means coiled serpent. And a coiled serpent, you think the serpent's always the kundalini. It's like that serpentine energy that goes up and down your chakra systems. So a coiled serpent is when it's at your base chakra, when it's the very bottom, and it's coiled in like a spring that hasn't sprung up yet. So it's like rock bottom. So it's about, how do I get out of this rut of rock bottom? I need help. So you kind of start figuring out analytical problem solving skills to kind of figure out like what your habit is, what causes you to get triggered to do your habits. Then how can you jump into a new habit to slowly transition out of a bad habit? So sometimes you have to have the strength to pick yourself up, have the strength to ask for help, or in the other person's shoes, you have to have the strength to pick up somebody when they're down and to help them into a new habit and get out of another habit. Have the strength to forgive them and not put salt on the wound or kick them when they're down. And you'll see there's the infinity symbol over the Virgin Maiden's head. So infinity symbol is like cycles, routines, habits, reoccurring things. So it's like this lion. Usually lions are so worried about other people's thoughts. And so they want to build up such a prideful reputation, maybe a little bit of arrogance. But, they do these bad habits and they don't let anyone know that they do them. So this guy, he's been caught red-handed. And so now he feels guilty. His ego's been crushed. And now he feels at his lowest rock bottom. And so he goes to the Virgin Maiden, who's perfect, and he asked for help. And so she's patient, because patience is a virtue, and she waits for him to come to her. And then she transitions him into a new habit and out of the old habits that no longer serve him. And he even has his tail stuck between his legs. The tail stuck between your legs is the old adage of feeling ashamed. I feel guilty. I feel like I did wrong, and I'm sorry. And I promise that I will change. And then it has a yellow in the background, so bright future. Just knowing that this guy has a bright future now. The first step is acknowledging that you had a problem. And then from there, we fix it. And so it's the maiden being patient, knowing that everything that because she's like Virgo, who's always the ones who like to help people. But then people like lions are so arrogant and prideful that they don't want to help. But that Virgo wants to help people. But so she does, well, let me just be patient. Because I know that if you're drunk right now and I'm trying to get you to stop drinking, you're going to be very competitive, defensive. But as soon as you wake up the next day with a hangover and you're sick and you're throwing up, then she comes in, waits for the lion to come. And he's like, you know what? I'm sick. I'm miserable. I'm so sorry. She goes, yeah, you think you need to change? Maybe you should stop drinking. And he's like crying. He's like, yes, of course. I'm so sorry. I should have listened. And then he gets very humbled. And so it's about waiting for the right time to like get what you want. Because she wanted to change somebody. She just had to wait when he was willing to change, when you're at your lowest. One more thing too, I'll just it's the same kind of stuff, but it's about using your analytical problem solving skills. I always think like all the 8 cards all do that in some shape or form. So you think about the snake, coil serpent, and they hide in the trees or inside the grass, like tall grass. And so he's waiting for like to catch a little mouse. So this little mouse walks on this trail every single day, and then it drinks a little sip of the water from the creek. And so the snake watches every time, and he's waiting like 3 days just to make sure this is like a creature of habit, which most people are. And so it waits for the little mouse on the 3rd day to go and bend over and get some water out of the creek. And then that's when the snake jumps and attacks. So it's like, again, waiting for the thing that you want to come to you by watching the patterns and the routines of people, knowing when the perfect time is to strike. And then you go and get what you want. It could be like even a business deal. Like when you do a business deal at a dinner or lunch, you always like, let's get some drinks, let's have a lot of food, and then we'll talk business. Because I know you're more eligible or likable, more likely, sorry, to sign a contract once you've drunk and eaten a lot of mashed potatoes with lots of butter. Now it warmed you up, and we've had a few laughs. Something like that. Or know when not to talk to somebody because they're in a bad mood. And so I know I'll just wait until they take a nap, and then when they wake up, they'll be all right. Something like that. It's patience and wait and watch. so you know when to strike.